The crackling campfire cast eerie shadows across my friends' faces as we huddled together in the dark woods. The air felt thick with anticipation as I cleared my throat, ready to share a story that would send chills down our spines. It was a night a lot like this, I began, my voice low and mysterious. A group of friends ventured into these very woods, looking for a thrill that would haunt them forever. Everyone listened closely, their eyes wide with curiosity and a bit of fear. They'd heard rumors about a hidden cabin deep in the heart of the forest, I continued. A cabin said to be cursed by the spirits of the people who once lived there. Legends claimed that an evil presence lurked inside, waiting for unlucky souls to stumble upon it. The fire crackled louder, almost as if it sensed the unease in my story. Even with all the warnings and the darkness around them, the group pushed on, their hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. They followed an overgrown trail, their flashlights cutting through the thick mist, leading them closer to their destiny. I paused, letting the tension build before going on. The closer they got to the cabin, the more alive the forest seemed to become. Branches rustled above, as if whispering secrets. Leaves crunched under their feet, creating an eerie symphony. A cold wind blew, chilling them to the bone. One by one, they reached the cabin's door, its wooden frame creaking in protest. With trembling hands, they pushed it open and stepped into a room frozen in time. Dust covered everything, and the air felt heavy with a sense of impending doom. My friends glanced at each other, their imaginations already running wild. As they explored the cabin's rooms, they found unsettling clues about its dark past. Photos showed a family, their faces twisted in agony. Pages torn from journals told stories of despair and torment. The cabin's evil energy grew stronger with each step they took. But their true nightmare began when they reached the basement. The air became suffocatingly heavy, and a rotten smell filled their nostrils. They descended the creaky staircase into darkness. Their flashlights revealed a gruesome sight. Chained to the damp walls were decaying bodies, their eyes empty, their flesh rotting away. The friends recoiled in horror, their screams echoing through the cabin. As they tried to flee, a chilling voice echoed through the basement, freezing them in place. It spoke with a guttural tone, full of malice and hunger. "You dare disturb my sanctuary," it growled. "Now, you shall be trapped here forever." The group panicked, desperately searching for an exit. But the cabin seemed to shift and rearrange itself, becoming a maze of endless hallways and doors. They became separated, their terrified cries filling the darkness. One by one, they fell victim to the vengeful spirit haunting the cabin. Some vanished without a trace, while others were found lifeless, their bodies twisted and broken. I let my words hang in the air, the weight of the story settling on the group. Their eyes were wide with fear. In the end, only one of them survived, their mind forever scarred by what they had seen. As the sun rose, they stumbled out of the forest, never to return. Silence followed, broken only by the crackling of the dying fire. My friends looked at me with a mix of awe and fear, the shadows flickering across their faces. We sat there quietly, the story lingering in the air. The forest seemed to whisper its secrets, and a chill ran down my spine. Maybe, just maybe, the story I told wasn't just a story after all. Darkness wrapped around our campsite like a thick blanket. The fire crackled, casting moving shadows on the faces of my friends. We were all gathered around the flames, feeling safe in their warm glow, not knowing the terror that waited for us deep in the forest. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying a strange tune that made us all uneasy. As the flames flickered, I took a deep breath, ready to share a story that would send chills through us all. "Have you ever heard of the Lost Hollow?" I asked, lowering my voice to make it sound mysterious. My friends leaned in closer, their eyes fixed on me, eager to hear what I had to say. "They say deep in these woods, there's a hidden path that leads to a forbidden place," I continued, the firelight reflecting in my eyes. Legends talk about a ghostly figure called the Wanderer, a soul cursed to roam the forest forever. A cold breeze swept through the campsite, making the flames dance wildly. The air was thick with anticipation. Years ago, a group of hikers decided to explore the Lost Hollow, I said, my voice shaking with suspense. They had heard stories of strange events and creepy happenings, but their curiosity pushed them forward. My friends exchanged nervous glances, their imaginations already picturing the haunted forest. With each step they took on the hidden path, the air grew heavier, and a feeling of dread settled over them, I continued, my voice dropping to a whisper. As they went deeper into the forest, they found an old, run-down cabin, its wooden boards creaking with age. The door creaked open as they carefully stepped inside. The air was thick with an eerie presence. Inside, they found a journal, its pages yellowed with time, left behind by someone who had been there before. I paused, letting the story sink in. The journal spoke of a curse on the Lost Hollow, I whispered. It told about the Wanderer, a tortured soul who had made a terrible mistake and was now trapped in the forest. The Wanderer was said to appear only to those who dared to enter the hollow. I saw my friends shiver as they listened, their eyes wide with fear and curiosity. The hikers kept going, their hearts pounding with fear, I continued, my voice filled with dread. They followed a narrow path that led them deeper into the woods, the trees towering over them like silent guardians. Their flashlights barely cut through the darkness as they walked, their breaths heavy with anticipation. Shadows seemed to move around them, whispering secrets that made them feel even more afraid. As I spoke, the fire seemed to flicker with unease, as if it too sensed the danger approaching. Suddenly, a loud scream shattered the silence, freezing the hikers in their tracks, I said, my voice trembling. The Wanderer had appeared, a ghostly figure full of despair and longing. Its hollow eyes stared right into their souls, its mournful cries filling the night. The hikers panicked, their hearts racing as they tried to escape. But the Wanderer was relentless, gliding effortlessly through the forest, chasing them with unstoppable determination. One by one, the hikers fell victim to the curse of the Lost Hollow. Some disappeared into the night, leaving no trace. Others were found dead, their faces frozen in terror. I paused, letting the story's weight settle on my friends. The fire burned brighter, lighting up their pale faces. Only one hiker survived, their mind forever scarred by what they had seen, I said, my voice filled with sadness. As they stumbled out of the forest, they vowed never to speak of the Lost Hollow, forever haunted by the memory of the Wanderer. Silence filled the campsite as my friends sat in stunned quiet. The wind rustled through the trees, whispering secrets that would stay hidden forever. We sat there, frozen by the story, the shadows moving around us. The forest seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting to see if the curse of the Lost Hollow would claim another victim. And as the night went on, we couldn't help but wonder if we had truly left the story behind, or if the Wanderer was lurking just beyond the flickering firelight. The moon was high in the dark sky as we sat around the crackling campfire, its warm light flickering against the shadowy forest. It was finally my turn to tell a scary story, and my stories were known to be some of the spookiest. My friends' eyes grew wide with anticipation as they waited for me to begin. I cleared my throat, and everyone went quiet, ready to listen. Many years ago, I began, there was an old cabin deep in these woods. People said it was haunted, cursed by something so evil that anyone who went inside never came back. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, almost like the forest was whispering its own secrets. One dark, stormy night, I continued, feeling the tension rise. A group of curious teenagers decided to check out the haunted cabin. They were drawn to the stories about strange things happening there, and they wanted to face their biggest fears. The fire popped and crackled, like it was agreeing with the story. The closer they got to the cabin, the more the air felt thick and heavy, Like something bad was about to happen, I said, my heart pounding as I spoke. They stopped at the door, staring at the old, rotting building that barely stood against time. When they finally stepped inside, the floorboards creaked loudly in the silence, like they were warning the teens to leave. The air was freezing, and it felt like they were being watched. My friends huddled closer, clearly on edge. They walked through the cabin's dusty, falling-apart rooms, every step making them more nervous. The walls had peeling wallpaper, and the furniture was covered in dust, like it had been waiting for its owners to come back for years. But the basement held the cabin's darkest secret, I whispered, making my voice as quiet as I could over the fire. There was a trapdoor leading to a hidden room, a room where the evil force that had claimed so many lives was waiting. My friends leaned in, their eyes shining with fear and curiosity. The teens went down into the basement, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness, I went on, barely whispering. There was a foul odor down there, and they felt like something was watching them. As they looked around the room, they found strange symbols carved into the walls. They didn't know what they meant, but they felt dangerous. In the center of the room was an old book on a dusty stand, filled with creepy rituals and spells. The teens, not thinking about the danger, decided to read one of the spells out loud, I said, letting my voice show the warning. But as soon as they finished, a cold wind blew through the room, putting out their flashlights and leaving them in complete darkness. My friends shivered and pulled closer together, the firelight casting eerie shadows on their faces. They screamed as the evil force woke up, hungry for their souls, I continued, my voice filled with fear. One by one, the teens were grabbed by something they couldn't see, and they felt nothing but terror and pain. Only one of them managed to escape from the haunted cabin, I said, my voice shaking. They ran out into the night, their mind forever haunted by what they had seen. The fire crackled, its last embers glowing eerily on our scared faces. And to this day, I finished, my voice heavy with unease, the haunted cabin still stands, waiting for its next victims. They say that on stormy nights, you can still hear the cries of the lost souls echoing through the forest. Silence filled the air as my friends sat, their eyes nervously scanning the darkness around us. It felt like the whole forest was holding its breath, listening to the story I had just told. And as we went back to our tents, the scary tale stuck in our minds, making us all too scared to sleep. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on more spine-chilling tales. Subscribe now for weekly scares. Hit that red button and join our journey into the unknown.